VictoryUnlimitedShow.com.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you the latest news live from the Victory Unlimited Show headquarters.
VU's been on radio silence since 0800. What's the update?
The reports you've heard on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News are all true. Victory Unlimited, the soldier for higher thinking, has just launched another surprise attack on the forces of misinformation, disinformation, and dumbassness in general. We have received confirmation from our soldiers on the front lines in North America, Europe, Australia, Africa, and Asia that knowledge bombs of truth have struck a crippling blow to our enemy's anti-good man propaganda machine. When the smoke clears, we fully expect each of these continents to be at least 80% more sucker-free than they used to be within the next 24 hours.
Well, haha, that's quite a bit of all right.
In the meantime, Victory Unlimited has just sent this message to troops everywhere as a reminder. We are at war! We are at war! We are at war!
Many of you know me. I am Victory Unlimited, and this is the Victory Unlimited Show. And you heard what my sister in arms said at the beginning. We are the only show that has declared war on the forces of misinformation, disinformation, and just general dumbassness. But remember, unlimited victory is not an event. It's a process. And this is how it begins. We got a message from AJ. He's 32, from Chicago, Illinois, and the title of his email is, Has she changed, or is she just running game? I repeat, the title of his email is, Has she changed, or is she just running game? And AJ writes, Hey, VU, I just heard that show you did about help. My girlfriend is in love with a bad boy thug criminal, and I haven't laughed that hard while I learned so much in a while. Good stuff. Here's something I'm going through that I wanted to get your opinion about. I've been dating this girl for about 2 months and things were going good. But even from the beginning, she had a lot of dating rules that she said that she started since she turned 30. From what I know, she used to be a wild party girl. She used to be one of those men's magazine models, and she used to go through guys like Kleenex, but she says that she's changed her ways, and she changed them a few years ago. But she still looks the part, though. If you can picture a girl who looks like Megan Good, but taller, then that's her. Anyway, I'm an accountant for a fitness company, and I met her at one of the sports expos that we attend every year. She was there as a sales rep for another company. We talked, hit it off, and have been dating since then. She said I'm one of the most conservative, stable guys she's ever dated, and that she was enjoying getting to know me. But there are some things about her that I wasn't so sure about. She always talks to me about how she likes to take things slow, and how she has a history for going for the wrong kind of guys, and how she doesn't want to make that same mistake with me. So I tried to respect her and the changes that she was trying to make in her life. I didn't really pressure her about anything, but as a result, it seems like she's the one who was running the relationship. She's the one who sets the pace for when we do things, how long we do things, and how far we go physically, etc., etc. The funny thing is, she set those rules at the beginning. And no matter what I've done, and believe me, I've tried to push her buttons in every single way, subtly, but she stuck to her guns. She seemed to really be true to what she was saying. That was one of the things that made me believe that she really was a good girl. So I thought everything was cool, and I was okay with that until I found out about a little business trip that she took 2 weekends ago. Turns out we have a mutual friend on Facebook, and she posted up a bunch of pictures and videos too of both of them partying at some nightclub in Atlanta while she was supposed to be on a business trip. In the video, she was letting guys grab on her anywhere they liked. And it wasn't just the guys either. There were videos and pictures of her and the other girl all over random guys and kissing them too. Well, anyway, I actually confronted her about it. When I asked her what was up, she didn't tear up or even get really emotional about it at all. All she said was that she was sorry that I saw that. And then she asked me to please forgive her. She said she just got a little too drunk and didn't know what she was doing. She said that I should know her well enough by now to know that she's really not like that normally. Now that was the last time we talked, because the last time I called her, she let me go kind of quick, and she told me that she'd call me back because she had a bad toothache. So we've never really resolved anything or went out since that particular conversation. Now, VU, don't rip me a new one because I'm not delusional. I know we just started dating a few months ago, and she doesn't really owe me anything because neither of us has had the exclusivity talk yet. But damn, I'm just saying, I always thought of her as trustworthy up until now, but now I'm not buying any of her explanation of what she said happened. How can this woman be a good girl with me on Friday, but Saturday night she's out being a bad girl with random guys? Do you think it's possible that she actually changed, but just had a relapse like she said? Or has she just been running game on me? Hey Jay, you say that this girl you were dating looks like Megan Good, huh? Well, she might look like Megan Good, but you better believe that not everything that she's been telling you is all good. You said that the last time she talked to you, she cut the conversation short because she was having a toothache. She wasn't having a toothache. What she was having was a truthache. You see, what we have here is actually 3 different things: the lies, the truth, and whatever it is that she's been telling you. The truth is that what it looks like you've run into here is the FGG scenario. What? You don't know what I'm talking about. Well, tell them what the FGG is.
The fake good girl scenario.
That's right. The fake good girl scenario. The fake good girl scenario is really when a bad girl pretends to be a good girl in order to achieve a certain goal, accomplish a certain mission, or to get a particular guy like you, AJ. Girls who create the fake good girl scenario are really just bad girls with an agenda. You said that this girl had a set of regimented rules all laid out for you the moment the two of you started dating. And that she told you things like she's never dated anyone as conservative and stable as you before she hit her 30s. That she's really enjoying getting to know you, and that she's got a long history of going too fast with the wrong guys. Well, all that is what we call around here is babe linguistics. Now here's the real translation of what she was really saying to you. You know, AJ, I usually don't go for guys like you because I'm not really that attracted to you. I'm really kind of promiscuous, you know, a real freak. But now that I'm getting older, I think it's time for me to find somebody that I can have more than just a one-dimensional kind of relationship with. But unfortunately, the type of guys that I really like aren't long-term relationship material. But you are. So I'm going to try to see if I can use you to wean myself off of them. Yeah. That's what she was really saying to you, but it looks like that didn't work out too well for her or for you, did it? You see, AJ, I know it doesn't look like it right now, but you really came out ahead on this one. Bad girls who are really good at faking like they're good girls don't usually make mistakes as big as the one that this one made. The FGG scenario, the fake good girl scenario, usually works out pretty good for the girls who create it. Why? Because most of the girls who run that scenario are usually very attractive, and they usually target guys who are naive and trusting, or they go after guys who are just so happy to have them that they turn off all of their critical thinking the moment they hook up with these girls. But you got off quote unquote lucky, as some people would say. You really dodged a bullet, but you don't always have to depend on luck when you find yourself in a scenario like this once you know what to look for. For instance, anytime you meet a woman who can just map out a relationship timetable for you and her without varying it at all at some point in some significant kind of way, then your internal alarm should be going off. She's either not that into you, or she's into you a little bit, but she's into using you to achieve a certain goal more than anything else. Never be too quick to trust a woman who's able to be totally rational about you and your relationship at all times. Usually, if a woman can always easily overcome her feelings concerning you with little or no trouble, if she can be so 100% logical that there's almost nothing that you can do to affect her emotionally enough to get her to change any of her plans, then you better believe that you're either on the set of a new Star Trek movie and she's playing a Vulcan, or something is up. Okay, let's eliminate the possibility that this chick is a Vulcan and just go ahead and assume that this girl has been taking you through maneuvers since day one. 9 times out of 10, yes, she's been running game on you. You see, if you ever suspect that you're romantically involved with a totally logical, completely rational woman, then watch out, because that's not normal. Because no man or woman is totally emotional or totally rational. We're all mixtures of the two to some degree or another. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, most true romantic relationships, at least here in the Western world, always come with some kind of noticeable emotional charge, generated and given off by both people, not just one. So when the girl in question was able to start dating you, keep dating you, and then stop dating you by blaming it on the toothache, then that shows you that she never really allowed herself to connect with you on any kind of real emotional level for whatever reason. Something else you can do in the future is to get in the habit of paying more attention to what the girl does as opposed to just what she says. What you're looking for here is consistency of behavior. What we're talking about here is believing more in the life that you see her living than just the story that you hear her telling. You've heard that old cliche that says that you can't judge a book by its cover, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that even though you can't judge a book by its cover, you can judge a book by reading its cover. You hear what I'm saying to you? Oh, and don't just read the cover, read the back of the book too. What I'm trying to do here is illustrate the point that you should always check out a woman's behavior from all sides, the front and the back. How a woman comes at you can sometimes give you a clue about how what she's gone through in her past might have affected her. Now, people do change every day. So don't fall into the trap of thinking that they don't. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that women can't. If you happen to run into another bad girl trying to go good, don't just automatically assume that she's playing you. Whether or not you think it's in your best interest to deal with a woman who's had a wild, freaky past, that's always your choice. So choose wisely. But if you do decide that you want to give the next girl with a past like that the benefit of the doubt, you should still keep your eyes open and judge how much she's really changed by her actions, not just her words, and keep your romantic enthusiasm in check, at least until you're comfortable with your assessment. Otherwise, you're going to keep making the mistakes that you've been making. You can't just go around believing everything every woman tells you about herself. Let her show you who she is consistently over time. You started off believing the hype, thinking that this girl was all clean and pure like a church. But you found out that she was actually more like a community center. You know, free and open to the public. I was wondering, what song was she singing at the club when you saw her? You know, when you saw her on that Facebook video. Was it this one? What was she singing? Was she singing this?
Throw your legs in the air and wave them like you just don't care. If you's a freak or used to be, somebody say, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Look, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you, AJ. But seriously, the take-home message is this. Life ain't about hooking up with a chick without faults. It's about not hooking up with a faulty chick. You don't want no woman who plays the good girl role with you, but plays the bad girl role with the next dude without batting an eyelash. You don't want no chick who can go from Michelle Obama to Nicki Minaj in under 60 seconds. You want a woman who's willing to be her real self with you 24/7. That way, at least you'll be able to make a real, honest, informed decision on whether or not she's really the right girl for you.
Attention! To every woman within the sound of my voice, you are listening to the Victory Unlimited Show, the greatest dating, relationship, and life strategy show for men in the world. So spread the word on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to all your sons, friends, boyfriends, and husbands. The headquarters for all the good guys out there who really want to better their lives is located at victoryunlimitedshow.com. Carry on.
We're on a mission. We're on a mission. We're on a mission. We're on a mission.
Victory Unlimited.
We're on a mission. We're on a mission. We're on a mission. We're on a.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Mark from Houston. Here's something I hope you can talk about on your show. Me and my girl have been together for almost 2 years now. She's fine, she's smart, and we connect pretty good on a bunch of different levels. She's cool. The only problem is that every now and then, she tries to get me to do stuff like go to stage plays, hang out with her and her family, go to watch girls' basketball games with her at her old high school, because she's a big-time alumni. But I'm not really into any of that. What do you think I can do to get out of doing some of this stuff? What do you think I could do to fix this problem?
Problem? You call what you just called in about a problem? Do you have any idea what the definition of problem is? Because if you don't, I gotta tell you, this ain't it. A problem is when your girlfriend tricks you into going shopping with her for 8 hours in the daytime. Then when she gets you home, she drugs you. Not enough to put you out or put you to sleep, but just enough to make you drowsy. That way she can tie you to the chair against your will and make you watch reruns of Oprah all day, along with about 20 lame Lifetime movies that she already has saved up on the DVR. Now that is the definition of a problem. But seriously, we can still use your question as an opportunity to talk about how us guys can avoid some of these real problems. What we're going to talk about right now is paying the boyfriend tax. That's right. You heard me. Have you guys out there been paying your boyfriend taxes? Because if you haven't, today is a good day for you to start. What is the boyfriend tax? Before we get into what a boyfriend tax is, let's make sure that you understand what a tax in general is. In purely financial terms, a tax is a sum of money demanded by the government in order to make sure that it has enough resources available to continue to pay for all of the goods, all of the services necessary to keep the country healthy and thriving. Likewise, you need to think of the boyfriend tax as the amount of time, interest, and yes, sometimes even money that your relationship demands in order to make sure that it continues to provide the two people in it with enough goodwill resources necessary to keep it healthy and thriving. The truth is that in many countries, you don't actually pay taxes. The hardcore truth is that they take taxes. That's right. You don't really even have a choice to decide to pay taxes or not. It's mandated that you have to pay them. You see, You see, just like paying your government taxes theoretically is designed to provide for you now and in the future, that's the same thing that paying your boyfriend tax is designed for. Some guys like to call paying their boyfriend taxes honeydews, as in, honey, can you do this? Or honey, can you do that? Like a list. And when they say dues, they usually spell them D-U-E-S. Get it? What I'm trying to say here is every man in a relationship will be faced with the prospect of having to pay his boyfriend tax. But let's expand on this a little bit more so you can really get the correct picture. You see, there are all kinds of taxes that people pay in all kinds of relationships to keep them strong, to keep them healthy and satisfying to all the people involved, not just for one person. Yeah, there are all kinds of taxes, my man. The IRS always makes sure that you know when your state and federal taxes are due. But there are other taxes that you pay all the time that you probably never even think about. There are son taxes that you pay to your parents. There are workplace taxes that you pay for keeping a job. There are business taxes that you have to pay if you want to stay in business. There are health taxes that you have to pay by working out and trying to take care of yourself. There are friend taxes that you have to pay by spending time hanging out with your boys, etc., etc., etc. You get the picture.
I don't want to raise taxes on anybody.
I know. Everybody's looking for tax cuts these days, and guys are looking for ways to cut the amount of taxes that they pay in their relationships. But a certain amount of taxation is necessary and good for the relationship. You think that you can avoid doing what you gotta do to uphold your end of the relationship, but it never works that way. At least not for long. You can't hide behind what you did for her or what you did with her 3 months ago as an excuse to give her for not wanting to do anything today. There is no tax shelter that you can use forever. At some point, just like the government, the relationship itself will come after your ass and demand that you raise up off all of those taxes that you've been withholding and make you pay your fair share. You can't claim to want to be in a good relationship while at the same time doing everything you can to avoid investing in it the things that you need to. Just like you can't claim to love your country and be totally unwilling to pay any taxes to keep it growing and healthy and thriving. The first example I just gave you ain't romantic, and the second one ain't really patriotic, is it? There's an old quote that says that the only two guarantees in life are death and taxes. Well, I don't totally subscribe to the negative connotations of that quote because I believe that there are actually many other things that you can count on in life too. But I gotta say that those two are definitely included. So let me put it another way. If you choose not to do what it takes to uphold your end of keeping a good relationship good, then you can count on it eventually dying off on you at some point. Now, today, you might feel like you're the king of the world because you've been getting away with investing the bare minimum into your relationship. But guess what? That's just today. Because if you ain't careful, tomorrow morning, you might wake up to find yourself by yourself. And by tomorrow night, you might find yourself at home alone with all the lights off, sitting in a corner, listening to all those old, sad, big, and Lenny Williams songs on CD, playing them over and over again until you just don't want to hear them anymore. Depressed. Then you'll turn your CD player off and then start calling up all your friends, looking for some sympathy, crying and until you start arguing with them after you done lost a girl talking about some, no, dude, you don't understand. Maybe you never been in love the way I've been in love. All you old school music lovers, y'all know what I'm talking about, don't you? But anyway, let me stop messing with you. What I'm trying to say here about paying your boyfriend tax is, do you really think that she wants to do all the things that you want to do all the time? I think not. You need to understand that just like you have to pay your boyfriend tax, if she's as good a woman as you say that she is, she's paying her fair share of girlfriend taxes too. My man, the best thing I think for you to do at this point is to set your alarm to wake up early tomorrow. Go straight to Home Depot, buy a hammer, some wood, and some nails, and build a big enough bridge to get over yourself. Because according to what you said, it seems like you got yourself a good one, and you seem like you're into her. But if you already think that paying your boyfriend tax is too much for you to bear, wonder what's going to happen if you move up in the relationship upkeep tax bracket one day and have to start paying a husband tax, a father of her children tax, etc., etc. Something to keep in mind is that there will always be other things that will try to get in the way of you paying your boyfriend taxes. Sometimes you're working late at your job tax, your family tax, or your hanging out with your friends tax can get in the way of you paying your boyfriend tax. But as you know, life is about balance. And it's up to you to make sure that you keep it balanced. Not just for her sake, but for your sake. And for the sake of all of your other commitments too. So the questions that you have to always be asking yourself regarding all the different kinds of taxes that you pay in life are: who should you pay? When should you pay them? And how much should you pay them? The answers to all those questions are really quite simple when you break them down. And just to get biblical on you for a second, nobody said it better than Jesus when he said, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's." But to put it in our terminology for the sake of the subject of this show, what he said was, pay what you owe to whoever you owe it to. And make sure that you pay whatever is appropriate to the people that you owe. Think about it. You wouldn't do exactly the same things to keep your relationship with your boss healthy that you do to keep your relationship with your friends healthy, would you? Well, the same thing is true for your romantic relationship. You got to make sure that you're doing what you need to do for them specifically. Or as that old OJ song used to say, you got to give the people what they want. So yeah, like I said a little earlier, the correct answer is always found in just making sure that you keep the proper balance. You'll usually know when you're paying enough boyfriend taxes when both you and your lady are happy and satisfied with what you're getting out of the relationship on a routine basis. You'll know when you're paying too much in boyfriend taxes when you start to notice that she's the only one happy and you're the only one who's annoyed, unhappy, or just plain mad as hell all the time. Or to put it another way, any investment that generates constant resentment in you is an investment that you probably shouldn't be making because you're not being true to yourself. Or to put it in yet another way still, any relationship that you don't really want to invest in is probably a relationship that you shouldn't be in. Don't forget, one of the root words in the word relationship is the word relay, like as in running a relay. You each have to be willing to hand that baton back and forth to each other so that each of you can run your part of the race to get across whatever finish line you've mutually set in front of you. For some people, that finish line is just an exclusive relationship, but for other people, that finish line is the marriage, the house, the dog, the 2.5 kids, and the whole nine. You see, if you don't value what you have enough to do your part to keep it moving in the right direction, then what you're really saying is that you really don't want it. True. In every relationship, there are some things that you'd rather not do unless you have to. There are some things that you do find yourself doing just because it makes her happy. And there are some things that are just straight up deal breakers. Only you know which things fit into which categories. Nobody's advocating doing things that go against the very core of what makes you who you are. So don't get it twisted. Nobody's saying that you should do anything that you hate so much that you'll start to build resentment towards your girl if you do them. What I'm saying is, if it's just something that she wants to do that you don't have any interest in, then the best thing for you to do is to learn how to develop an interest in them. And I'm talking about a genuine interest, not a fake one. Yeah, it may sound like it's hard to do, but it's actually easier to do than you think. The truth is, within reason, if you can keep an open mind and practice getting really focused on getting involved in some of the things that your girl likes to do, most of the time you can actually develop a real interest in them yourself. You can find something of value, something beneficial in almost everything that you do, once again, within reason. Believe it or not, stranger things than that happen every day, my man. Actually, come to think of it, if you do have a quote-unquote problem here, it's what I like to call a quality problem. Let me tell you something right now. Paying your boyfriend taxes into a relationship with the right girl doesn't make you weak. It makes you smart. Because what you're doing is enjoying the benefits of a good relationship now. And you're also investing in the possibility of having a greater relationship with her in the future. Don't you know that there are thousands of guys out here who wish they were in your shoes right now? There are guys out here right now dealing with some real issues with their women. Sounds like you got a good thing here. So don't take it for granted. Consider yourself fortunate because everybody ain't got it like that. So I recommend that you think about that the next time you want to haul off and say,
Read my lips. No new taxes.
If it's a good relationship, just man up and pay what you owe. But at the same time, don't be too quick to pay too many taxes into a bad relationship. Sometimes when you're paying too many taxes into a whack relationship, the best thing you can do is
Try a tax cut.
And if you don't see any positive results right away, then what you should do is
Try another.
And if you find that you're still not getting what you want out of the relationship, then as a last resort, what we here at the Victory Unlimited show advise you to do is
Take 2 tax cuts, roll back some regulations, and call us in the morning.
Why? Because everybody in relationships have to pay their fair share. Everybody has to represent. And like you already know, there can be no taxation without representation.
This broadcast is brought to you by VictoryUnlimitedShow.com.